Let's talk about a phenomenon that's more common than most people realise, and that's resisting happiness. I know it sounds really odd at first. After all, who wouldn't want to be happy? We structure our entire lives around that pursuit. We chase it through career goals, through relationships, self development, routines, even spiritual practice. But for many, happiness remains strangely out of reach. No matter how much effort is poured into finding it, and the surprising reason, it's not that happiness is unavailable, it's that we're unconsciously resisting it. This resistance usually doesn't show up as something dramatic or obvious. It's subtle. It lives in the background, like a quiet, not yet whisper that keeps pushing joy a little further down the road. I'll rest when I'm more productive. I'll enjoy myself once I'm in shape. I'll feel peace after I fix this issue. We think we're working towards happiness, but really we're postponing it again and again and again.
And that delay is rarely questioned because it's socially reinforced. We live in a world that praises striving. It celebrates pushing harder, being endlessly productive, constantly chasing self improvement. So when someone resists peace or joy, they're not seen as struggling. They're often seen as ambitious, disciplined, motivated. But here's the twist: underneath all that striving, there's often a belief that joy must be earned, that we aren't yet enough to feel good, that we have to prove something before we deserve rest, peace, or contentment. And that belief can be deeply rooted in past experience, especially if joy was unsafe in childhood. If moments of lightness were followed by tension, criticism, or chaos, then your nervous system learns happiness is risky. Over time, we don't just resist joy intellectually, we resist it physiologically. Your body says, don't get too relaxed. Don't let your guard down. That's not a personal failing, that's a survival mechanism.
That's such an interesting and important point. This isn't just mindset, it's embodiment. You can consciously want peace and still feel completely restless when things slow down. You might find that finally you get a free weekend, and the moment there's silence, the external success, and then immediately you fill the space with chores, overthinking, or a sudden sense of discomfort. We often interpret that discomfort as boredom or laziness, but in many cases it's just unfamiliarity. Your nervous system doesn't know what to do with the absence of stress, so it seeks something familiar. And for many, what's familiar is striving, pressure, vigilance, even low level anxiety can become kind of a comfort zone. The work here isn't about forcing yourself to feel happy, it's about teaching your system gently, gradually, that it's safe to soften.
One of the most effective ways to start that teaching process is through observation. Begin noticing your if then thought patterns. These are the inner contracts that you've made, usually unconsciously, that delay your right to feel good. If I lose weight, then I can date. If I get the job, then I can relax. If I'm confident, then I'll speak up. It's not about judging those thoughts, it's about seeing them clearly. Because once you see the pattern, you begin to question the premise. Why do I need to wait for these things? Who decided that peace has to be postponed until I meet certain conditions? Awareness cracks the door open, and sometimes just opening the door is enough to let in a breeze of change.
And as that awareness grows, you can start to challenge another common illusion, the idea that happiness is the same as complacency. This one is especially tricky. We've been taught that resting means giving up, that feeling content means you're no longer growing. But the truth is, contentment and growth are not opposites. They actually work beautifully together. When you feel grounded in yourself, when you trust that you're okay as you are, you don't stop evolving. You just evolve from a place of inspiration instead of lack, from creativity instead of fear. You start choosing your actions from vision, not panic. That's where sustainable, meaningful growth happens. Contentment isn't the end of the road, it's just a more peaceful lane.
And part of cultivating that peaceful lane is engaging your body. This is where somatic practices come in, not as trendy buzzwords, but as deep repatterning tools. You can't think your way out of a nervous system pattern. You have to feel your way through it. That means learning what it safely feels like in your body. And for many, that's a completely new experience. Try this. Lie down and scan your body. Notice where there's tension. Breathe into that space. Not to force anything to change, but just to observe. Then ask, can I allow myself to feel even 2% more at ease right now? That question alone can open a door, because it's not asking you to leap to bliss. It's inviting a micro shift, and your body can work with that.
That micro shift idea is key. Most of the transformation happens incrementally. It's not about suddenly loving yourself or feeling wildly joyful. Sometimes it's just allowing yourself to enjoy one small thing without guilt. Letting the sun hit your face, savouring your meal instead of rushing, taking a deep breath and realising you don't need to fix anything in that exact moment. And these moments retain in your system. Over time, they add up. Your body starts to recognise happiness, stillness, or joy, and it doesn't have to come with a price tag.
And speaking of price tags, let's touch on this idea of worth. Because for many people, happiness has been tied to self-worth. When I believe I'm enough, then I'll be happy. That's the message. And while it's well-intentioned, it's not the only path. Here's the truth. You don't have to feel fully worthy to feel a moment of joy. You don't have to achieve perfect self-love before you're allowed to relax. Peace is not a trophy you get for healing enough. What if you let yourself feel good, even if your confidence wavers? Even if you still have doubts? That's not bypassing, that's reclaiming. You're not skipping the inner work, you're just not holding your breath until it's done.
That's such a compassionate way to approach it, and it aligns with something I often return to. Your worth is not a project. It's not a status you earn through effort. It's a fact that's already baked into your being. You don't need to strive to become enough. You are already enough, even on your messy days. Even when your inner critic is loud, even when things feel unresolved. So instead of waiting for external validation or inner perfection, what if you just allowed a little more peace now? Not because everything's ideal, but because permission has nothing to do with perfection.
And maybe that's the real message today. You're allowed to feel good without finishing the to-do list, without fixing everything, without waiting for a better version of yourself to arrive. You don't need to earn rest. You don't need to qualify for joy. You don't need to deserve peace. You just need to allow it. And that allowance, it begins with the smallest step: awareness, softness, and one moment of saying, this is okay. I'm okay.
So as you go about your day, try asking yourself one gentle question. Where am I postponing happiness? And then what's one small thing you could do to stop postponing it, even just for a moment? Maybe it's putting down your phone and looking out the window. Maybe it's saying no to one unnecessary task. Maybe it's simply taking a breath and not rushing to fill the silence. Whatever it is, let it be enough. Let it be a doorway. Let it remind you that you're already allowed to feel good, right here in the middle of your life as it is.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future uploads. And feel free to share it with someone who might need to hear this today. Until next time, think differently, dream boldly, and create consciously.